We're fighting Mr. Smite, and this Defies Blackguard should be focused down first. Mr. Smite's just stunned us, and the Blackguard is wailing on our hunter. Let me see if I can shield him. It's 8-second stun is brutal. Okay, the warrior came back to help. Okay, we look like we're stabilizing. He's stunned slightly. Okay. Right, we're stunned again. Welcome, friends and foes. In this episode, we confuse some Alliance players. We have to jump onto a giant wheel, and we almost wipe several times. As the rest of our group arrives at the dungeon, now is probably a good time to talk about why this dungeon was such high stakes. In the group, we have a level 18 warrior who is our tank, slightly underleveled for the dungeon. We have 2 rogues who are average level for this dungeon, as well as an over-leveled hunter, which sometimes is more of a hindrance than a help. Finally, to top off the party, we have me, a first-time healer. Will we all make it out alive? Well, you'll just have to watch along to see. If this kind of content is of interest of you, and you do want to see more, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on when I post videos. Currently, I am posting a video every Friday, is my upload schedule. So, as we make our way through these first mobs, it's not too challenging. They are around the same level as the tank, so we are hitting away, and the tank is able to hold threat quite well. The Horde, however, don't often do this dungeon. This is because of the fact that it's quite out of the way for most Horde players, and we don't have any quests that give lucrative items. So we are doing this dungeon just for pure vibes and some good experience. There are some high lucrative items that can drop here for rogues, as well as a wand that we will want to keep our eyes out for in this episode. One of the issues with having a low level tank while we're doing this dungeon is that the end boss becomes an orange leveled mob to him. So because the end boss is such a higher level than the tank, it means that our tank will hit him less and be able to hold aggro less on that final fight. Something that you can be sure might come into play. But as we arrive at the first boss, there is a trick to pull this boss on his own. Now, due to the inexperience of the Horde being in this dungeon, we do pull the ad with his we pull the boss with his ads as well. Unfortunately, this means that it's going to be a lot more intensive on the healing side for me. But we're just trying to make sure that everyone is topped up. The boss is hitting the tank quite hard at the moment. Trying to watch my mana. I have a few mana pots that can keep us safe. But I am quite low at the moment. But the enemies are getting low as well. And everyone should be safe. I think this first boss gives quite a good window of opportunity into what healing this dungeon is going to be like. Very intense on the mana side of things. Now, this dungeon has a few mechanics that we've not seen. Anytime that you kill a boss in this dungeon, 2 Defias elites spawn at the entrance and walk towards you through the dungeon. And we call these paths, or paths. So I'm aware that they're coming behind us, and will be keeping my eye out as much as I can. Letting the group know. I have seen many of hardcore clips where groups forget about these paths and then end up fighting a much bigger pool than they were expecting. So it's always safest just to communicate, talk to your group, and make sure that everybody is on the same page. As you can see, the 2 on their own aren't that much of a challenge. But yes, as we go through here, we will be, we'll be taking it sort of slow. Obviously, our tank was a bit apprehensive. He wanted to wait until 19 or 20 to do this, which I think would have been a sensible idea. But we are a full guild run, and our community of people that are coming together to make our corner of the world just a little bit brighter grows with each passing day. If this sounds like something that you want to be part of, you can feel free to join the Discord. I will leave a link in the description, as well as joining the guild yourself if you play on Doomhowl NA. We are a horde only guild. Once again, really community focused and honing in on trying to make each other's day a little bit brighter. The world is a horrible place at the moment, so it's been a really nice space, and I've had quite a few people, I've been really touched by it. Quite a few people have reached out and thanked me for making this space, and thanked me for, trying to bring people together. So that has been honestly the highlight of my week when it's happened. So thank you to everyone that has taken the time to share, like, comment, subscribe, help my videos reach more people, as well as join the community and, put in the work to make everybody else's day a little bit brighter as well, and, reap the reward of all our hard work as a group. As we're approaching this next room, we're starting to clear it out. There's definitely a really interesting thing with this room, in the sense that we try and pull things out of this room as the boss walks around. And if you pull the boss, I'm pretty sure it pulls most of the goblins in the room. Maybe not all of them, but it just is going to spell a bad time anyway. One of the funny things that has happened to me recently is that I had my first dream of losing another player. Everybody that plays hardcore knows the hardcore dream, where you dream that your character is going to die. A nightmare is probably more apt. We spend so much time in building these characters and leveling these characters and getting attached to their stories and the worlds that they inhabit, that it can be quite stressful to play sometimes. Well, I experienced the next level of that. As a healer, I had a dream that I let somebody die. I very much did not enjoy that. I felt very guilty, and I woke up in a puddle of sweat and was very glad to realise that it was just a nightmare. But I was talking to my dad about it. One of the things he said is, one of the things he said was, the further along on your journey you go, the more precious the journey becomes and the time that you've invested becomes. And I think that that's true with life as well. One of my favourite bands, Biffy Clyro, their newest album, Futique, released not too long ago, and one of the underlying messages in that concept of the album is things that become boutique in the future. That's where they got the word futique. Things that might seem mundane or boring today might be something that you look back on with very fond memories, 5 years down the line. So here we are fighting Sneed's Shredder. This is a 2-phase boss. You can see that the tank is taking a lot more damage than I'd be used to, so I'm just having to kind of top him up. But as Sneed jumps out, he jumps onto somebody and deals a lot of damage. Luckily, it went onto the tank, so we're nice and safe, though Sneaky is dropping quite low here. We'll get him a heal as we kind of sit down, have a bit of a drink, and sort out. Once again, we've killed the boss, so there's going to be a pat come behind us. So we'll just get some mana back, and then we go and kill them, essentially. But yeah, a lot of my thoughts this week have been around that idea of the future boutique things. I'm going through quite a transitionary period in my life, and part of the reason that I'm making these videos is so that I can look back with a lot of fondness for my time making them, as well as the community that we've built and the lives that we've touched. And I think that that's going to be something that I look back with a lot of fondness. The whole reason I looked into this video editing thing was because my dad wanted to record and upload a character and his story, playing a character, but the video editing side takes a lot of time and is quite involved, I would say. So I offered to teach myself and kind of practice, and then me and him make characters side by side. I've mentioned this a couple times, but we're going to make a soul-linked character where if one dies, they both die. So we're going to see if two idiots can reach level 60 together without either of us dying. The feedback I've had from some people is that they would love to watch something like that. So if you fall into that camp, please let me know down below in the comments. If you don't fall into that camp, let me know why. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, maybe some feelings that you might have. What classes would you guys want to see in that challenge? Currently, I am planning on going Shaman Tank, because I think that it's a big challenge, and Shamans aren't really seen as tanks, so it brings a lot more risk to the story of these characters. I've never played Shaman. I've not tanked a lot in my life playing World of Warcraft, so I think that that's going to be very exciting. Anyway, as we come up to this next room's fairly dangerous, though there is a safe spot. Not that we really talk about it in the group that we are. Once again, because we're in a guild, we have a community Discord. Some of us are on comms, not all of us, but you can jump down on that big bucket below. Not those small 4 ones, but the big one, and it will stop enemies from being able to attack you, and they will reset. So if something goes bad, there is a way out of this room. Now, the main kind of mechanic I would say in this room is one set of goblins have a bomb that they can throw that deal damage over time to anyone that's in range when they cast it, so any of your melee characters will get that. And then they will also, the other team, or the other type of goblin, has a summonable robot. And this robot, one of the most annoying things about it is it can't be taunted. It resists taunt, so quite often healers will get attacked by them. So we'll just have to take our time and we'll have to see. Now, you can see here that we have our Crescent Moon Staff on our back. Once again, that was from our Wailing Caverns run, where we asked the question, can I heal when I'm asleep? If you've not seen that episode, feel free to click onto it. I have a whole playlist of my journey through Todd Sir's leveling. You can also see my progression with video editing and give me feedback on that as well. But yeah, so we're making our way down this ramp, and you can see the big furnace box is off to the right hand side there. That's it there for a second, and we're just kind of clearing up as we go. This room doesn't feel too bad to heal at the moment. Again, it's a lot to do with just topping up the DPS with some renews when they get hit by the molten ore. Trying to keep my threat down so that the robots don't come and smack me. And just, yeah, just keeping the tank as close to full as possible without overhealing and wasting mana. You can see here that this goblin wants to shoot us, but we use the line of sight to be able to we use line of sight to be able to pull him towards us there. He goes down, he summons a robot though. If we had somebody that had a stun, then we could have stopped that coming out. Made the room a little bit easier for us, but we're doing okay. We're at 100% mana. Everybody's full health at the moment, so we're just keeping on. Once again, being a new healer, if you do have any ideas of recommendations of things you're seeing me do wrong or things that you think I could be doing better, please do let me know. But nobody's died as of just now, so that's the main thing in my world. I think I'd feel a lot of survivor's guilt during healing if somebody did die, but I've been reassured by quite a few people that it's the DPS responsibility to keep themselves alive. If they're doing stupid things. Oh, you can see that we've got a robot on us at the moment. They hit quite hard, but it was okay. It was alright. But yeah, the DPS, making sure they don't over damage to pull aggro off of the boss or off of the tank can be a really big thing on making sure that they stay alive. Essentially you're all responsible for yourselves, but the healer being the support, I feel a lot more responsibility personally, which can be quite scary if I'm honest. I already mentioned that I had a nightmare about letting somebody die. That was definitely, this dungeon is what caused that. As we get through, we haven't had too many close calls as of yet, but the second half of this dungeon is a complete nightmare. And that second half, I would say, starts as soon as you hit this boss. So here we are, another boss. He's hitting quite hard. There is an ad with him. Again, it usually makes a lot more sense to take out the ad first, but you can see here having the high level hunter, he pulls aggro way too easily there. No ring drops, unfortunately, but we've just wasted all our mana, or used all of our mana, keeping everybody alive, and then there's an extra pool. I'm down on under single digits for percentage of mana, trying to keep everybody topped up in this fight. I suppose I could have tried to wand a little bit more so that I could get the last hit. Maybe that and a spirit tap proc could have kept us a bit safer. But we drink up, and from that experience I actually go away and I make a macro to yell or out of mana, so that I can communicate clearer with my party when I get low on mana. So this next room isn't too dangerous. Lots of non-elite mobs, but again, if they aggro off of the tank and damage goes to multiple people, there's a good chance that more people are taking more damage and I have to heal more people, which gets quite confusing. You also have just seen that the tank got frost novaed. This is going to become a big thing in the next room. There are mages that you fight that have the ability to root you in place, and that can be quite dangerous, honestly. You can imagine if the tank loses the focus and the mob starts attacking, say, me, but the tank can't move, then yeah. Now here you can see that there's a locked door up ahead, and one of the best arguments for taking a rogue along to this dungeon is that even if they have level 1 lockpicking, as long as they've unlocked the lockpicking skill, you can get through this door. Now, fundamentally, it's not that complicated to get through it. You have to pick up a barrel that summons a couple of Defias, and then the other thing that happens is when you blow the door open, it alerts everybody to your presence, and you get a couple of enemies run to you. So, by being able to lockpick the door, it really gives us a firm ability to pace the next pools, which is fantastic. You can see here that we're kind of split between the hunter and the warrior. We're starting to get into the higher level area of the dungeon. So the tank has an ability taunt, which forces the enemy to attack the tank or the person that casts it, and while it has a cooldown on its own, when you're using it against a higher level enemy, they have more chance to ignore it. Level 18, these guys are still yellow to the tank, but anything 21 or 22 and above is orange, I believe. It might even be 21. So we're right on that cusp of what is very dangerous for the tank. Now, there are a few places in this room where you can reset. There's a couple on top of the torches where enemies can't hit you. You're just outside of their range. However, they can be quite tricky to get onto. So we're going through. This hunter has consistently pulled aggro off of the tank in this room, meaning I have to split my healing focus and use a lot more mana than I would otherwise if we had, 2 levels off of the hunter and 2 levels onto the warrior, then it would be much easier. But we're keeping up, we're not doing too bad, we're just healing across. And again, we wanted a full guild run, so with the comms of being in the guild and the growing community, we were worried, but we weren't too scared, so to speak. That is until the next big fight coming up. And then it seems to go downhill very quickly from there. So we're coming up to a boss. I'd like to draw attention to my mana, which is only about half at the moment. So I start drinking. I notice that they run in pool. I get back up to 93-96%. And this boss, as seen in the intro, has a stun mechanic. So I've told people to, I've tried to make sure that people are focusing the ads first. However, there is some damage being done to Mr. Smite, and he is going down in health, but he stuns us for 8 seconds, and that is 8 seconds that this Defiant Blackguard is hitting the hunter, without anyone being able to do anything. So luckily I get my shield on him, and the group kind of come back and kills that ad before he stuns us again. And if you have some hard CC like a Hand of Justice or a Bash that can stun a target, you can time these stuns to interrupt his stun. So it's 66% and 33%. So you want to stun them around 67, 68, and as long as your stun overlaps when he would stomp, it would interact it. Now, we didn't get the Great Hunter weapon, which is the harpoon. Oh no, that's a later drop actually. We didn't get his big hammer, which would have been good for the warrior. But we take a second to kind of compose ourselves after that. That was quite a scary fight, I would say. Running up here, this boat is also quite notorious for deaths. There is a platform that we will walk under that if you jump, it will pull everything that is above you. So it's quite terrifying, but also we'll try and play it as safe as possible. The tank is just saying that he was resisting and stuff. The boss was resisting, which is why that was quite a hard fight. But it's okay. We survived. I've seen a lot of Reddit posts talk about the idea of trusting your instincts when something feels off in a dungeon group. Now, we were a full group of guildies, and we're a full group of guildies, so I wasn't overly worried, but there was still, I remember being very nervous as I was playing through this. Dungeons tend to scale easily in the beginning and then harder later. So I know that we've got a bit of an uphill struggle, so to speak. Now, this next boss here can drop us this next boss here gives us potentially a wand. Can drop Cookie. There he is, the Murloc cook himself. He has 2 drops. He has Cookie's Stirring Rod and Cookie's Tenderizer. His Tenderizer is a one-handed mace. It's not very good for anyone, but his wand is incredible for any casters. So that's what we want. It will bridge gap between what we're using just now and the Black Fathom Depths wand very well. And of course it's the Tenderizer. Always the Tenderizer. Unfortunate but expected. So now we're going to clear around the other side of this boat. I'm going to take a quick drink. Seems a little bit wasteful, but again, always better safe than sorry, particularly in hardcore, where one mistake, not having enough mana, could definitely get somebody killed, including myself, and I do not want that on my conscience. This fight here, you can see, is a little bit messy. There's a lot of back and forward as we get rooted, and luckily I can spin around and see everyone, but these pirates have a wonderful skill where they summon a parrot. The parrot also hits very hard, so it doesn't have a lot of health, but it does hit very hard. And you can see here, this is us walking under a platform. This is where we don't jump. If you jump under here, you can pull the pirate above you, and they will run down and pull 4 or 5 different pirates on their way to you, and I've seen that kill people for sure. So it's can be a little bit scary. However, we're tempting fate by standing under, and you can see here that the hunter has got aggro, but the tank got frozen, so the hunter's just having to eat some damage. I suppose I could have shielded him there. I'm quite low on mana. I'm about half at the moment, but it's all good. One of the best pieces of advice that I got given was, one of the best pieces of advice that I was given was make sure that the tank is as close to full as you can get them, but the DPS, they don't need to be full health. It's probably a waste of your mana if you do make them full health constantly. So that's okay. We're just keeping on, kind of making our way through. You can see one of our community members came on, Myth. He is also a streamer and posts his long form videos on YouTube, so if you're looking for more WoW content, I believe he also does Breath of the Wild and Zelda content. So he was coming in just off of a stream and asked us wished us good luck for Deadmines. Now we got a chest. Todd, I don't think, has ever taken a chest from anyone. My kind of philosophy is to pass on things and give the good luck to other people. However, as a self-found character, this is probably the worst thing you could do, as there are some items that could be really beneficial in chests, such as gems or leather or stuff like that. But we do have our skinning at the moment, so I'm not overly worried. But there could be bags, there could be anything in there that we could really enjoy having. This fight's a bit scary, mainly because of line of sight. I'm trying to position myself where I can see everyone, but even if they had walked further along that ramp, there's a chance that my spells would have been cancelled. So that is very unfortunate, if I'm honest. Making our way up here, you can see the big wheel. This wheel is quite famous, I would say, in the hardcore community, as if something goes wrong, it is one of the best places that you can run to, and you will be safe. So keep that in mind, as it's going to be very useful in about 40 seconds. This goblin shipbuilder here is on the hill, and just above him is the boss, the next boss, Goblin Greenskin, or Captain Greenskin. You can see that him and his patrol walking towards us just now. And if you're on this ramp, their sight line can see you. So if you watch the top of the screen at the moment, you will see that they do in fact see somebody. They turn round and they start running. Now I'm watching out for this, trying to heal everyone and type to get to the wheel, because fundamentally I don't have the mana, nor do we have the strength to take on the boss, and they would pull all the pirates from the top there as well, which is huge. It would be maybe 4 or 5 elites on top of a boss. So not something that we want to do. But we wait until it is safe to go over, and I see this parrot and decide, I'm just going to kill it. What I didn't realise is that parrot was connected to a couple of elites. Now luckily it did not pull the boss, and it was only 2, but that could have went just as bad, and we might have had to have jumped onto the wheel again, but luckily for us, we're okay. We do get frozen, and we get hit quite a bit, but I'll be honest, one of the things that will probably get Todsert killed is that I continuously forget to check my health. Yeah, I continuously forget to check my health and make sure that I am also in a safe position to keep healing. Now you can see that the boss walks away around the top, and we all kind of sneak up and continue clearing the rest of the enemies here, which is quite exciting. This is the boss that dropped us the Emberstone Staff. Unfortunately, the Emberstone Staff, while it's fantastic, it wasn't quite as good as what we're using, which is the Crescent Moon, so I don't know if there's too much. Now, we do pull the boss before I expect to. I'm at about 80% mana, and the tank is getting hit very hard. I pull aggro from the tank. You can see Sneaky starting to go low. I'm starting to kind of panic a little bit. Trying to keep on top of people's healths, trying to keep on top of healing. I'm at about 30% mana, 20. I decide to use a pot before anything else can go wrong. We've still got quite a lot of the fight, and I can see that both the tank and Sneaky are going down fairly quick, but luckily for us, we do indeed get through the fight with no losses. I end up on 4% mana, which honestly, if I had not have used that mana pot, we would have been out of mana, and there is a really good chance that somebody would have died. So I sit down, prepare to drink, to ensure that my mana comes back. I remember sitting in this moment and thinking to myself, that was a lot harder than I expected. I knew that was going to be a difficult fight. I don't know if we've got this next fight. So we started talking about tactics, to make sure that everybody's on the same page, so that essentially we can make sure that everything is going to go smoothly, or as smoothly as it can. Van Cleef has the ability, he starts with 2 extra mobs that will come and fight with him, and then when he reaches 50% health, he summons an extra 2. Now, if we had a stun in the group, we could stop him pulling these extra mobs, so it's a 5 elite pool, or if we had a mage, we could sheep one. But the tank pools, and the tank is getting hit very hard. You will see him go into the red very often. You can see that Sneaky is also getting hit quite hard. I'm about half mana, and we're not even halfway through the fight. I'm trying to hold off on healing so that I can get some more mana, but before I can even react, I have to use a mana pot, and I have to go away and try and just trying to keep this tank alive, just trying to keep everybody alive at the moment. I'm down to 30% of my mana, giving big heals at the moment. Van Cleef does die. Somebody picks, which kind of distracts me at the moment. I'm trying to heal the tank still. I am out of mana. I do not have a pot, but luckily we do survive, and everybody survives. But it was quite stressful. Everyone was kind of taking damage at the same kind of time, and there was a lot to go on. We pick Van Cleef. We end up getting an unseen or an unsent letter, which is really funny because it's an alliance only quest, so you can pick it up as the Horde. Really interesting. As we kind of wrap up this episode, we go and take a photo and celebrate as a guild. If you have made it this far into the episode, I want to take a second to say thank you. Your viewership is much appreciated. I'm just learning. This is my first time healing, first time making videos, so every little bit of support really does help. Once again, if you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, it helps the video get more views, and our whole kind of mission here is to just make our corner of the world just a little bit brighter. Once again, we're going to hurf back to safety of Orgrimmar here. But if you would like to join the community that we have got building here, feel free to join the Discord, which is in the description below. Alternatively, you can come and join the guild. Not all the guildies are in the Discord, but every guildie is welcome. Everybody is welcome to the Discord. You don't even have to play WoW. It's just a safe space for people to feel welcomed and be able to talk about life and make friends and bring the world together just a little bit, so that our corner of the world is just a little bit brighter. As always, friends, stay safe, see you next week, and continue working to make our world just a little bit brighter.